The Tragedy of Cinema podcast is intended as a family-friendly program that by extension strives to be inclusive to all people regardless of their ethnicity, gender, creed, or any other identifying factors in this incredibly diverse world of ours. With that said, some of the films we discuss may contain serious subject matters or have content considered morally objectionable by today's standards. We do not intend to condone or dismiss these aspects of these films, but our primary focus will be on what we believe the film succeeds at, some fun facts, and our personal enjoyment factors of each film. With that said, we hope you enjoy the show.
My name is Marlowe, Philip Marlowe. Occupation, private detective. You know, somebody says, follow that guy. So I follow him. Somebody says, find that female. So I find her. But some cases, like this one, kind of creep up on you on their hands and knees. And the first thing you know, you're in it up to your neck. Right now, you're reading in your newspapers and hearing over your radios about a murder. They call it The Case of the Lady in the Lake. It's a good title. It fits. What you've read and what you've heard is one thing. The real thing is something else. There's only one guy who knows that. I know it. This Lady in the Lake business started just 3 days before Christmas.
Who invited you?
I did.
Now, wait a minute, Mr. Marlowe.
Just when I was beginning to like you.
Well, you want the facts, don't you?
When it concerns a woman, does anybody ever really want the facts? Vain female, aren't you?
Please don't be so difficult to get along with. I need help.
What's going on here?
He got cute.
Striking an officer, resisting arrest, and murder, all on Christmas Eve. Let's wrap you up real pretty, shall we? And take you right down to headquarters. Give me your hands.
You'll see it just as I saw it. You'll meet the people, you'll find the clues, and maybe you'll solve it quick, and maybe you won't. You think you will, eh? Okay? You're smart. But let me give you a tip. You've got to watch them. You've got to watch them all the time. Because things happen when you least expect them.
No, don't! I love you, remember! Drexel, 33391.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Tragedy of Cinema podcast. I'm your host, Jimbo, and joined again today.
Detective Zahner, in the house,
I was going to say,
investigating crimes.
the boy in the bottom of the pool.
You don't know what it's like. Being me, hard, good old gumshoe. Why do they call them gumshoes, Jimbo? I don't know.
Because you step on gum.
It's really weird. They leave rice behind, I guess. It's
okay,
weird
Kyle.
movie trope.
That's enough.
I'm
All
talking
right, so
okay.
today we are going to be talking about a special movie Basically, there's not very many movies shot like this.
No.
And back a while back on the Facebook group, somebody mentioned this as a movie that we need to look into because it was shot differently. And of course, I immediately bought it and watched it, and I was blown away then about this movie. This is obviously going to be episode 132, which is Lady in the Lake from 1946.
1946.
And what makes this movie so special is it's actually shot first person. Very well shot. The only time you see Philip Marlowe, who is the detective that you're playing, is at the beginning when he's given a narration, and at the end when he's closing the movie. But the only other time you see him in the movie is when his reflection's in a mirror, or he looks at like a spoon or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very, very well done. So Kyle, let's go ahead and take away this great black and white movie in the detective crime mystery section, if you will.
No question this time around?
No, I don't think I'm going to give you a question.
All right, we think one on the cuff. Just hit me with it. No, I'll be prepared for it, I'm sure.
Are you sure?
When am I never ready, Jimbo?
Every time we record.
How dare you? All right. Well, okay, fine. With that insult away, I'll cover the movie. Now we have Lady in the Lake, released on December 20th of 1946. Lady in the Lake was a first-person movie, one of the first of its kind, and very few of a very niche genre. Completely filmed in first person, as Jimbo once did. And the film is about a Philip Marlowe, detective of other films such as Long Goodbye, and recently Liam Neeson's going to be in a film later this year called just Marlowe. And there's a few other films starring the character of Philip Marlowe based off a series of novels. Basically, a lady editor of a crime magazine hires Philip Marlowe to find a wife of her boss, and the investigator soon finds himself involved in a murder. Directed by Robert Montgomery, written by Steve Fisher for the screenplay adaptation, and originally by Raymond Chandler for the original novel, and composed by David Snell, and cinematographer was Paul Vogel. Budget for the film was $1.026 million in 1946. Adjusted for inflation, that'd be about $15.7 million. So this movie was not made very expensive or something like that. But for the time, though, this is a reasonably priced movie for sure. Technical details. This is a 105-minute movie, so on a bit of a longer side for a film of that era, especially movies in the 1940s took place around, took that 90-minute mark pretty seriously, actually, and didn't really go too far along. So this movie has an unusually long length for it. Pretty good there. Sound mix, mono mix by Western Electrical Sound System. Color info, this is a black and white film. Aspect ratio, this is a 1.37 by 1, or about a 4 by 3 aspect ratio for the people who've seen those kind of usual aspect ratio, like the I think actually TV aspect ratio, which is unusual. Yeah. So still there too. Camera they used was the Bell and Howell IMO camera, which is the first I've ever read the Bell and Howell IMO camera. And I wonder if they needed a smaller camera specifically to get those first person shots the way they wanted to, or get them through doors. The size of film cameras back then. Size of like a motorcycle at that point too, so I imagine getting it through a door to try and get those first person shots probably pretty difficult. So maybe the Bell and Howell camera was just the right size needed for that kind of shot. Yeah, and also this movie is like the first person perspective of Detective Philip Marlowe, but it's really the first person perspective of his chest. The way I saw the film, it's not really his face. It's what his pecs see. But we'll get to that later. Some more of the technical details going on. This film was entirely, for filming locations, was entirely attributed to the Metro Goldwyn Mayer Studios in Washington Boulevard of California in Culver City. And that is technical facts. Move on here. We got a quick little cast to go through. Cast scores of Robert Montgomery, who's also the director of the film, playing the character of Philip Marlowe. Robert Montgomery was also in the films Night Must Fall in 1937, Here Comes Mr. Jordan in 1941, and Private Lives in 1931. Mr. Jordan was in 41 and Private Lives was in 31. Next up, we have Audrey Totter playing the character of Adrienne Fromset. Audrey Totter was also in the films The Unsuspected in 1947, Tension in 1949, and High Wall, also in 1947. Next up, we have Lloyd Nolan playing Lieutenant D. Garmont. Lloyd Nolan was also in the films Hannah and Her Sisters in 1986, Julia, which was a TV series from 1968 to 1971, and Airport in 1970. Next up, we have Tom Tully playing the character of Captain Kane. Tom Tully was also in the film The Kane Mutiny in 1954, and Destination Tokyo in 1943, and Coogan's Bluff. Next up, we have Leon Ames playing the character of DeRace Kingsby. Leon Ames was also in the films Peggy Sue Got Married in 1986 and City Slickers. Next up, we have Jane Meadows playing the character of Mildred Heavlin. Jane Meadows was also in the film City Slickers in 1991, and David and Bathsheba in 1951, and College Confidential in 1960. Then we have the actor Dick Simmons playing the character of Chris Lavery. Dick Simmons was also in the films Sergeant and Preston of Yukon in 1955-1958. That was a TV series. The Well in 1951. Then we have Morris Ancombe playing the character of Eugene Grayson. Morris Ancombe was also in the films The Lonely Place in 1950 and the film The Giant Claw. And I think I've got the date wrong there. I believe it was 1954, if I remember correctly. And that is the cast of Lady in the Lake. So,
Kyle, let me ask you a question.
All right, Jimbo, I'm ready for it, as always.
Do you consider Lady in the Lake a Christmas movie?
No.
Well, go back through your notes and look at all the music from the... Go ahead, read the soundtrack.
I wonder if this is a trap of some sort. Huh? The soundtrack includes the song Jingle Bells, Angels We Have Heard on High, The First Noel, Deck the Halls of Boughs of Holly, and God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen.
As well as For He's a Jolly Good Fellow and Balulalu Lau is played in the background during Christmas Eve midnight. Mm-hmm. The reason I ask is not only because of that, but it is set the day before Christmas on Christmas Eve. If you remember right, the guy that's sitting there and his daughter calls or whatever, and he's like, yes, I will be. Yeah. Okay, but we won't need the pillow this time because he's playing Santa again, right?
Yeah.
But then something else that caught my eyes at the beginning, the introduction with the how you usually have like the Philip Marlowe in, blah, blah, blah. It's just like hand-painted things, and you see a hand coming and moving them out of the way, remember? Yeah. And they had some little Christmas decorations on there. So I just wanted to ask you if you think it's a Christmas movie. And there's some stuff in the trivia, and we'll get there. But
I feel like you're gonna get me into a larger discussion a little bit. But it's like, do you think Die Hard's a Christmas movie? We're going into that whole discussion again, though. It's like, this movie takes place during Christmas, not a Christmas movie. And I don't think it's essential that it has to be Christmas for that film to happen.
Exactly. So if this isn't a Christmas movie, Die Hard's not a Christmas movie.
I think Die Hard's a Christmas movie.
Well, you're wrong. But I'm just saying,
Die Hard couldn't have happened without it being a Christmas party at that building.
Sure, it could have.
No. It had to be another dumb holiday. You need a reason to get everyone out of that building, but also to have all the staff down for a Christmas party. So you can't. Yeah,
it's not true, Kyle. How many times at the place you used to work did we just have pizza because? To show your appreciation, we're having a pizza party, right?
Yeah, but our bosses weren't there, and everyone else wasn't going on either.
Let me see here. Here we go. We'll just start here. But the cue cards at the beginning was it's kind of weird just seeing a hand come across and pulling like the little 3x5 card out.
Oh yeah.
So here we go. The entire film unfolds from Lee and Robert Montgomery's point of view, thus creating a rarity in film. The principal character is only seen on screen as a reflection in mirrors and windows, and as the narrator speaking directly to the audience, which Kyle and I did a little dive into this at the beginning, and I think there's only, 34, 37 movies?
There's only 34 films on Wikipedia that are listed under their film shot from the first-person perspective. And we went through that list, and we found a lot of movies where they have individual shots that are shot from the first-person POV, but very few of them are the entire film is.
I can only think of this and Hardcore Henry as the two that I personally know. Mm-hmm. I know we see, Predator, where we see it through the...
Predator's vision, and then Terminator Vision as well. And I think being John Malkovich, I haven't seen myself, but I think the movie is almost entirely shot from first-person perspective as well. I believe so from the trailer I saw. But the other films here, where it's just the 2013 film Gravity, there are some shots that are first-person, but I wouldn't think that's a whole film. And same thing with we had a discussion The Matrix. I think there's only one shot in the original Matrix film that's shot from POV when Neo wakes up from being unhooked from the Matrix.
Right. And there's a movie called Brainstorm, which we just discovered. Starring Christopher Walken, where it's basically like a virtual reality set they put on their head, and that's what they are saying is shot in that kind of
yeah. So there's
technique.
There's shots and techniques being used in those individual films, but it's not the whole film.
The whole movie, right.
So this is a very niche genre of films, and it looks
It's well done.
Yeah, and from what it looks like here, like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, like has a little bit of that going on too. So
Right, that's...
Yeah, it's hard to say what exactly is the first film that did this too. I'm not exactly sure.
I got it right here.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll get to it.
Okay.
So the Lux Radio Theater broadcast a 60-minute radio adaptation of the movie on February 9th, 1948 with Robert Montgomery and Audrey Totter reprising their film roles. So that's pretty cool. The first-person camera technique used by Robert Montgomery is known as subjective camera and had not before been employed in this manner beyond the first few minutes of a film, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in 1931 by pioneering director Robert Mulholland. Raymond Chandler didn't think the technique would work. After hearing that it was going to be utilized from co-writer Steve Fisher, the author called the studio the next day to complain. It apparently was a contributing factor to Chandler's refusal to take a film credit. So this is the first movie to do it.
Yeah,
pretty much all the way.
Another surprising thing too is that like it's weird that films aren't the main innovator in this particular kind of like filmmaking process of having subjective perspective being done. It's almost entirely being like iterated upon by video game developers now for like first-person developers of games like Call of Duty or Halo or Doom or something like that, where a lot of those cutscenes are completely from first-person perspective because that's the perspective of the camera, of the player. So that's kind of interesting to see. Like those are the people who have done the most work of refining the camera work that's being done in those games and how that will later be translated to film. Hardcore Henry, I know, took a lot of inspiration from video games, and I believe they did some Portal work for the Portal franchise originally as some fan films.
Can you imagine? We'll just use the Avengers for example, okay? Mm-hmm. Can you imagine the Avengers if they had the Avengers Endgame, the Thanos cut, and you just see Thanos' first-person vision? And then you had Avengers Endgame, the Iron Man cut, and you see everybody in first person through Iron Man.
Yeah.
Then you go through Thor. Then there'd be different cuts of just watching them through the whole movie of their thing. I think that would be cool too.
Yeah, super interesting perspective, and like it's cool to see. I would like to see almost some more films actually kind of like tackle that in some cool ways, especially some of the completely CG films, especially because like you can just like you're just moving the camera along to a different area and you've already rendered that entire environment anyways.
Can you imagine a Star Wars movie where you're having a lightsaber battle in first person?
Yeah. I think the answer is like if you're doing it at that point though, you just make the video game. You don't make the movie at
Which
that
they
point.
have.
And they have, and they will continue to in ways that are really cool.
So director Robert Montgomery brought this finished movie in 19 days ahead of schedule. So he probably saved some money there. And
he did. Production's tough, even back then.
Yeah, they probably loved him. The company probably loved him. Mm-hmm. Lloyd Nolan was almost blinded when the glass splinters from a bullet that smashed a window hit him in the face. Ooh. He was rushed to the hospital, and a doctor carefully removed a shard of glass from the edge of his cornea.
Oh my gosh, terrifying!
And who Lloyd Nolan? He played him.
Lloyd Nolan was. Let's see here. I guess he's not on the main cast list right there, but he is on the second cast list I'll pull up right now.
It's right here. Lloyd Nolan, who plays Lieutenant DeGarment here, previously played the lead in A Time to Kill. This was based on another of Raymond Chandler's Philip Marlowe novels, The High Window. Time to Kill was released as part of the Michael Shayne series of detective films.
Cool.
According to the studio records, this film earned a profit of $598,000, which is approximately $9.2 million in 2022, making it a box office success for MGM.
That's in 2022.
Yeah, I did do 2023. This is just what the note said.
Yeah, no, because like adjusting for inflation, like the budget for the film was $1 million, and adjusting for inflation on our inflation calculator was 15.7. So at that point, it'd be a loss.
But this is a profit.
Oh, a profit of $9 million, and adjusting for inflation.
No, it earned a profit of $598,000.
Office. Oh,
and then basically a $9.2 million profit.
So they paid. Okay, all right. Yes. Okay, just for inflation. All right, so they paid off. So they probably made then $1.6 million in the actual box office, but $500,000 was profit. Okay, so that's how. You guys.
Kyle, the numbers
are going. I know the numbers, Jimbo.
Okay.
It's on the spectrum.
All right.
Go for it.
The pistol scene at the end of the opening credits is a Colt 908 vest pocket 25 caliber 6-shot semi-automatic. It can be seen throughout the film in the hands of Marlowe, Kane, Fallbrook, DeGarment, and Adrian Fromset. In Bay City, Zippo gasoline sells for 14.5 cents per gallon in this movie. So,
Could you
fill up for $1.
Fill up for $1, no problem.
Audrey Totter once said in an interview that it was easy for her to play her role due to having done work on the radio. So she played a really good role too.
Yep. Even for inflation, that's cheap again.
Yeah.
The numbers, I know.
The actress Eli Moore is credited in the role of Crystal Kingsby. This person does not exist. The credit is a joke, as the name is phonetic for the French phrase "Elle est morte," or "she is dead," which I'm not going to give any spoilers away for this because there is a twist or two at the end of this movie. It's a detective story, so you got to expect this. But there wasn't a whole lot of information on this movie. I just think the way it is shot is it's classic. It's different. It's a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
So Kyle, why don't you tell me what you think of The Lady in the Lake, and maybe some discussion points if you want.
Yeah, because I definitely want to kind of like, I want, like, there's so little time we can spend on the actual film, but the ideas themselves we can spend a lot of time on. I think, like, I think this film overall, like, it's a very straightforward and classic Philip Marlowe story. The reason I liked Long Goodbye a lot, the film we covered like earlier last year, was because it kind of played against type of Philip Marlowe, made him kind of a goofball, an idiot, and kind of a loser in many respects. Whereas this film plays a lot more of the competent private eye in a way that's very much more straightforward and to the actual true to the character, anyways. And so that film in itself, like, is a very solid structure to build upon, and then kind of use this wild idea for the time, especially of having the first person perspective is very is a way of making intrigue for the audience. And I think it was successful in that point because, like I said, it did make a profit. So that's really impressive itself from a marketing standpoint from the producers of the film. I think it was a great idea of like, hey, let's do this wild thing because that will grab attention in an otherwise largely, by the numbers detective story. Even then, there was a ton of other detective movies going around for sure. So that's a good way to kind of make intrigue for this film and make it stand out amongst the herd. So that's cool in itself. And my personal thoughts on the film is that this is a, like I said, very straightforward and very enjoyable. I enjoy any good grizzled detective story, and this movie has in spades. So that's good stuff right there. But the idea itself of trying to do first person movies is something I would like to see more of, and also kind of interesting to see like how you can trace the influence back to video games and then back to real life again, back to real movies again, and how those both kind of transfer back and forth, because that's where the main part of iterating on this technique is being done in a lot of cool ways. So overall, I think it's a cool technical feature. I mean, I enjoy it as a film buff. So that's my kind of thoughts on the film overall. Jimbo, what do you think?
Well, what I like about it is even though it's shot in first person, number one, it immerses you into the story because you're there seeing what he sees. Because even at the beginning, he's like, hey, you're going to see this through my eyes. See if you can figure it out before the end of the movie. Right.
Yeah.
But here's some things that stood out to me. Number one is when he is smoking, you see the cigarette smoke, right there in front of his face. In front of the camera, it looks like he's smoking. Like when the lady goes to light a cigarette, she leans over and lights it. Or when she even kisses him, she comes into the camera, like this, and she's like, "Oh, you close your eyes too," because the camera goes black. Remember?
Yeah.
That then when he gets on the phone calls, you see the receiver at the bottom of his mouth, on the camera.
Yeah.
I liked how when he gets in a fist fight, he gets punched, and knocked down, and he falls to the ground, and you're looking up at the people. When he gets chased down in the car, and the car wrecks, you see him, opening up his eyes, and he's still groggy and all that. Great. When he gets cut, or when he wakes up and she came to pick him up, and she's like, "Let me fix you up," and she hands him a mirror, and he looks in the mirror, so you see yourself, and she's doing the cut on his head. When he's walking through the house, and it's kind of creepy, dude, because you're like, somebody's going to be in here, because that's just where Chris Lavery was, you know what I mean? And that's the guy that socked him earlier. So, you see him going up the stairs. Well, you see him going into that one bedroom, you see the sheets and all that pull down.
Yeah.
Turn, all that. Then he walks down the hall. And you're thinking for a jump scare right here. And then, he goes to the bathroom. That's where he finds the body in the shower.
Yeah. Now that you mention, actually, I'm sorry, I'm going to take it away from you again.
Yeah, you're good.
Mention like jump scare, stuff like that, too. I think another kind of like a spiritual cousin of this kind of genre of film, the first person perspective, is like any 3D movie, especially like the horror 3D movies. It's like a horror 3D movie always has the moment where like the pickaxe is coming through the screen and coming right at you, or especially like in a trailer or something like that, like the hatchet's coming right down on you.
Yeah.
Or like, like a thing like Spy Kids 3D where the finger comes in
Really?
and it comes through the screen to press the giant button and moments like that too. And I feel like this film takes did a lot of the first work on that of having I think someone vibrating phone or something like that in the background. Sorry, distracted for a moment. It is mine. Yeah, there it is. Cool. I actually did now. Sorry about that, folks. Phone calls happen on air sometimes. Even have phone on vibrate apparently. But like a lot of those techniques that were developed for this film for the first time, I think translated over to the 3D genre of films that took later into the 60s and 70s, as well of trying to figure out like how do we have something that kind of comes to the screen. The answer is you have that moment where like we treat the camera as its own spectator and kind of like put things into the into their space, invade their space of the screen itself. So that's really cool too, and a lot of that stuff like happened here for the first time in many respects. That's really cool as a film legacy goes.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a horror movie that was shot first person the entire time from the point of the killer?
Gosh, there was a film a little bit like that, and I think it had Elijah Wood in it. I'd look up the title for it now. There's a movie, I think it's either I think it's Elijah Wood, but it's a horror movie where he played the movie entirely from his perspective. I have to look it up now.
I guess, something that wasn't on that list was the original Halloween when Michael Myers put on the mask at the beginning.
Yeah,
it wasn't on that list.
Thing. Yeah, it was again
that's interesting. So yeah, I definitely think that this is a movie that everybody should watch. I think it's very entertaining. See if you could follow along and figure it out. Especially the ending. It was, you thought it was going one way, and then you find out it's another way. Then you find out the two things were combined, and you're like, whoa, you know what I mean? And let me ask you a question, Kyle. Mm-hmm. Do you think when he said, he's like, how are you going to find me? He's like, don't worry. I'll leave this trail of rice. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
He was just dropping the rice on the ground, right?
Yeah.
I was like, and then at the end, the I'll say one of the culprits is like, he's like, well, how did you find me? He's like, don't worry about the police coming. He's like, I kicked all your rice out of the way. Oh, yeah. And then the chief comes in and he's like, well, Marlowe, we would have been here sooner, but
he kicked the rice out of the way.
So it took us a little bit longer. And I'm like, really? That's how you found it?
You could have dropped that whole point. Nothing would have been lost in the film. Nothing.
I'm thinking to myself, okay, Hansel and Gretel is one of these birds or something come and eat this rice while he's out here or whatever. But no, I'm definitely giving this out of a 5. I'm definitely giving it a 5, just for the fact that it's so entertaining. It's very well shot. It keeps you captivated. And you know what it kind of reminded me of? It kind of reminded me of those Choose Your Own Adventures when you were a kid, the books.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Put yourself in the position of the main character. And, hey, if you go to page 7, you're jumping off a cliff. You go to page 7, you found a rope and a pickaxe and you swing down safely. Go to page 31. You jumped off a cliff. You're dead. That's one of
okay, I got the film right here. The film is called Open Windows, released in 2014. Stars Elijah Wood, and the film's little is a jilted fan soon finds himself pulled into a deadly game of cat and mouse after he accepts the opportunity to spy on his favorite actress via his laptop. So it is kind of like the film I think takes almost entirely from the place of Elijah Wood's perspective, and he's like a psycho killer trying to chase the character the actress Sasha Grey, who's an adult film star, and she plays that one in the movie as well. And basically trying to stalking her and going to kill her as a psychopath.
So Kyle, what are you rating this on a scale of 1 to 5?
1 to 5, Lady in the Lake. I'm going to put it as a solid 3. It's a solid film worth watching, but no means you have to go outside and pursue it. But it is interesting from a film perspective.
I think it deserves a 5 just from the way it's shot. There's not many films that are the entire movie.
Oh, I agree. It's impressive from that type of perspective. I admire its creativity from that, but I don't think it's anything more of exceptional film than any other in that respect. Like it's interesting from a historical perspective, but not interesting from a enjoyment perspective in my mind.
Well, you're wrong.
Okay, I'm wrong. You go ahead and take your own thing. I'm gonna own my opinion. I'm gonna stick with it. Now, even if you prove me wrong, I'll be like, no. This is my opinion forever now.
All right, so there you have The Lady in the Lake. If you want to follow us on social medias, we are the Tragedy of Cinema podcast on Facebook. We are also on Twitter. We are also on TikTok, which we now have a lot of followers, which I didn't really expect. Kyle's getting ready. We are discussing about what the next movie we are going to cover. It might be a heavy hitter. We just stumbled upon one today. We're discussing it, but it could be one of those ones that make you sit back and breathe. It's just because Kyle was just almost crying at the trailer. So I was like, yeah, this is going to be interesting. So we're not going to say yet in case we change our mind, because as when you do a podcast, you try to schedule something else, or somebody suggests something else, and we change it up a little bit. Yeah. So
we want to make a fun, interesting podcast, and sometimes though, like that's interesting when like we want to kind of like tackle a bit of a downer of a film that has like serious topics talked.
Yeah, this one looks pretty serious.
So it's definitely like but it's also a fun challenge in that respect, and also like it's interesting to us to have like a fun discussion about a film that has very downer topics to discuss.
Right.
So I think it's cool. So we might do it. We might not.
And also our 4-year anniversary is coming up pretty soon. So we're still working on that. We also have a live show coming up. We're working on that too. So stay tuned. Some big things happening in 2023. So,
exactly.
Kyle, with that being said, I think this episode's coming to a close, and that's a wrap.
And cut.